Welcome to Websites for Beginners. My name is JP, and in this tutorial, episode 2 of Bricks Reconstructed, we're going to build something out nice with bricks. Very exciting. Hope you had a good week. Let's get the tutorial started. And what we're going to be tackling in this video is to make another hero banner, but we bring in a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. Again, we're going to keep it more or less very simple, but look at this nice hero banner at the top. Looks good, and I hope you can see it on your screens. We have this shape divider to the left that gives it a little bit of flair and direction. We're also going to work with, I think it's called a divider, see how that works within bricks, and play around a little bit with transform functionality. As I hover over the more button, you see it pops bigger and gives us an idea that there is something here that can grow and needs a little bit of attention. And then after that, we're going to take this design, our little layout, and we're going to turn it into something really stunning. And you can see I've also added here entrance animation to the button as we had done that little slide up. We'll then make sure that it looks good for our tablets and mobiles, and after that, we'll go and enjoy the weekend. When I had made this one originally, it was in Bricks 1.2, and I actually picked up a few bugs here and there, especially when it came to transform, because I was working on the rotation and it didn't want to work. And then just before I went to bed, I noticed on the Facebook community that there is the 1.2.1 release of Bricks out, and I saw in the change log that there were fixes to the rotate. So I'm going to try it in this video. It may work, it may not work. You know, sometimes we do a little bit of the cowboy on the side. Good. So this is what we're going to be tackling this morning. I shall keep it up here on the left as a reference. Otherwise, I'm completely going to go bonkers because I cannot remember this from mine. Let's go into our dashboard here with bricks. And I want to show you how we're going to work this time because bricks has got a little functionality that many other developers keep saying, oh, we want to do this in the future, and we never see it. Bricks has done it. Sounds like Simpsons did it. Within WordPress, we find ourselves. Let's go to pages because this is where we start. And I think what they're bragging about, they should also have a function in the future within the bricks little area up here for that label. Go to the pages, and we had created last time demo 01. We'll recall that and call it Recon 01. So today we'll call it Recon 02. Click on Edit with Bricks. This takes us into the bricks editor. No, we're not going to build it out within this one. We're going to build it out in a new one. And there's been some changes here because of the 1.2.1. There it gets in. So we are now in the one that we created previously when we want to create a new page. And this can be done within the bricks editor. So no need to exit into WordPress dashboard. On the left sidebar, top toolbar, you will see this little icon, pages. And this is where you can create the pages within the bricks. Click on pages, and then we see pages plus, and we see currently we are doing demo 1, the name of this page, and we are editing this page. If bricks is activated also for posts, you will find here where it says select post type from the drop-down pages as well as posts. But currently it isn't. And the reason for that is if I click here on the B for bricks, where does it take us? To the front end. Then I'll click on the W, we go back, and we go to bricks in the sidebar and just click on that. Then go to settings. You will see that our post types. Select post type to edit with bricks, post, and page. Well, in many cases, you're going to have the post. So let's just activate that so you can see how it works. And click on Save Settings. Then back to Pages, all pages, and then Edit with Bricks. That step, Pages, all pages, Edit with Bricks, that's where I wish Bricks can give us some kind of shortcut key into bricks from the bricks label. Now, when we go up here on the left sidebar to pages, you're going to see pages and then I can also create posts from here. We're going to stick to pages. Before we create that page, one more thing I want to show you, and that is I went to this B for bricks, and I clicked on the B for bricks, and it did what? It took me to the front end like so, and then I went back by clicking on the W into WordPress. That B, you can actually assign what you want it to do when you click on it. I really like that. So if we go to bricks again and select settings, then builder access, I think it's builder access. Nope. Builder, yes. And then it says toolbar logo link. And currently it's set to preview. And I can also click here on opening new tab. It's set by default to preview, but you can choose if you want to go to the home page, the dashboard, edit in WordPress, or no link. Let's click here on dashboard and then save settings. And we can also select open a new tab if we wanted to do that. Let's go through that process. Again, pages, all pages, demo, edit with bricks. And now if I click on the B, it's going to take me into the dashboard. I like this setting because most page builders will only take you back to the Gutenberg editor, which in my case, I think 99% of the time is completely useless because you're actually editing within the builder. You don't need to go to the Gutenberg editor back end. You just need to go maybe back into the WordPress area. So I really like that. You can decide if you want to open it in a new tab or not. I think let's go and do that just for good measure. Bricks, settings, builder, toolbar, logo link, and you can choose which one you want to do, and then open in new tab, save settings. And here's also confirm delete. If you are very careful about the things that you remove and you want to make sure that every time you delete something, it will ask you, are you sure? Pages, all pages. And I just need to go and make sure I didn't create two double links. We have that B, and then over here, you see here on the right in the toolbar at the top, here is already an edit in WordPress. So if I need to go back to the WordPress editor, aka Mr. Gutenberg, you just click here on edit in WordPress, and it takes us here. Which, like I said, in most cases, there's really no reason you want to come here because bricks is your building block. So let's go back to edit with bricks. Enough of that. Let's get into the building. Remember, the first thing we want to do is to create that new page. So we go to the left sidebar, click on pages, and then here, create. And I'm going to call this Recon 02, give it proper naming this time, and click on create page. It's created it now. We're not there yet. So click on Recon 02, and Bricks smartly is going to do some amazing stuff and open the Recon 02 for us with a new blank canvas. We'll need our container for the section, and for that you can just simply click here on the plus, insert container, and this is going to be our main container, our section container, our blocks container, our row container. This is our main frame. So our background will go in here, and I can already make a few changes here. Click on it, and the settings open in the sidebar on the left. If I go too fast for you, you better go and watch Bricks Reconstructed episode 01. Everything we do in there, as we go to the next video, I'll go quicker and quicker. And then here later on, I'm not going to explain everything anymore. So if I do something and you're completely lost, it means you didn't watch the previous videos, Francine. You better go watch it, okay? This is a section, so I'll change my HTML tag to a section because this is the one time I want to change it for a container this big and put it on a section. It's currently set to flex. Don't scratch your head too much over this. Just know it's a good thing. And what I will do, go to align container, I will stretch it. The reason I stretch it is so that it can be full width on my page. With my structure panel open on the right, I will collapse it by clicking up here on structure, and you will see my container It's not all the way from the left to the right. And this is what Align Container will help me do. If I click on stretch, it will take it all the way from the left to the right. That's where I want my container to go. The content inside my container, I don't want it to go that far, so I'll put another container within this that acts like a column. Think of it this way. With my section container selected, I'll go up here to Elements Plus, or you can hit on your keyboard, Control-E, Command-E, which will open up for us our element drawer. And then container again here, I'll click on it, and it wasn't selected, so it dropped it here at the bottom. It's not the end of the world. We can simply drag it in there. I'll open my structure here, and from the right side, go to the right. And then here, now with the update, I see the move handle has moved to the left. Okay, click on it and just simply drag it to the right. Simply, I say like I should. There we go. And now if I click on it, it's highlighted, and we can see it's highlighted here as well, but in blue. Our main container, which is our section, orange, and then our column in blue. I'll give it these names, so maybe we can change it even here and call it as such, just for your reference. So let's call this one section. Just click with the cursor and backspace, and then this one I'll call column. That's very nice to have this within your structure. If I collapse it again, you can see now that we have here the orange and we have the blue. The problem is that this blue column is all the way flushed to the left. We don't want it there. To get the blue container to move to the center, we have to tell our section container, the orange one, that please, everything that I put inside of you, I want you to center align it. Just click on it to select the settings, and then under section, you go to align main axis. You go to align cross axis. Wait a minute, where am I now? These terms have all been updated. Okay, sure, right? So since episode 10, things have changed. This used to call elements, inside elements. Let's go, it must be this one, center. There we go. Align cross axis, new terminology. Don't believe me? This one up here is still the previous version 1.2. Let me show you. Where's my section? See here, align items and justify content. So Bricks in 1.2.1, they've made some terminology changes to the titles. Okay, so take note of that. We have align main axis, which is going to be our vertical spacing, and then align cross axis, which is going to be our horizontal alignment within the container. And there's a few extra features there as well. We are very happy with this. So we're going to turn a blind eye to all those other fancy little things over there. Let's bring in a background color. And instead of the boring 36, 36, 36, let's play around with some real colors. Today I'm going to use flat colors. And if you're not familiar with what flat color design is all about, I'm not sure if it's that popular anymore in 2021, but it was the fashion for around 3 years. I still like flat color design. Let me give you quickly an idea of what flat colors are all about. I use something called flatuicolors.com. You can check the link. I also posted here. Very nicely, very great free little tool that you can use if you're ever lost for inspiration. Really appreciate the hard work that people do online and just put it out there for free. This is flat color design, and you can read up a little bit about what flat UI colors are all about. And then I'm going to use, I think the one I chose for this one was the Russian palette. Simply click on it to load the palette. And what is very nice here, as the colors come up, make sure it's here at the top in copy format. You can have it in hex, with the hash, without the hash, and then you have RGB, RGBA. The moment you see A, we are talking about transparency, and then want more colors. But we're going to keep it as default. Simply click on the color, click on copy, and it's going to copy the hexadecimal code for you. We go into our builder, make sure our section is selected, And then style, because this is all about color and size, etc. Background, and then background color. I'll scroll up, and then here, I'll just paste that color. There we go. And that's it. Now we have our background color. Now let's bring in the content, and we want to place the content inside this blue column container that we've created. I'll hit Control E to bring up my elements inspector or drawer. And the first thing I will do is bring in a heading. I'll click and drag onto the page, and then here, how do I get it inside that column? Doesn't seem to drop inside. Let me see. Nope, I'm just going to drop it here. But if that happens, you know, oh, now it can move. After I've dropped it, I can move it in easily. So I've clicked on it, I'm dragging it, and I'm dropping it. A lot of eyes in those 3 sentences. Select it, and to do that, we are going to select our element, which is this one with the green bounding box. Click on it, and then go to content, and we can first change the heading over here. I'll open Lorem Ipsum again, loremipsum.io. And let's start here with these 3 words from Lorem Ipsum dolor. Lorem Ipsum dolor sit amet. And then here in the builder, in the sidebar, I'm just going to paste it here. Currently, we can't see it because it comes in my default in a black color. We'll soon change that. In fact, let's do that first. Otherwise, you just sit there and look at me change things and no idea. Color, understyle, background, nope, typography, and then scroll to the bottom, text color. Advice to every page builder out there. I know you guys don't like changes, but most of the time, the first thing you need to change is the text color because of situations like this. We hardly change the text color at the end, I think. I may be completely wrong, but this is my experience when we work, especially with dark backgrounds. You cannot do anything until you've changed the text color. So I'd advise people put text color at the top. I think people think the font should usually go at the top, but I've found that most of the time, the first thing I want to change is the text color. I'm not going to cry a river over this. It's just the way life is, and we cannot always get what we want. But at this moment, I'm going to change the text color, click on it, and there's already a white little swatch here for us to select, and I'll just select that. And you can click on it again to close it. There we go. Let's go back now to content and finish up here. We have Lorem Ipsum dolor. Happy with that. And tag, I'm going to leave it on H3. And then everything here, perfect. Style, go back to typography, already open. Font family, and I'm looking for one called Work Sans. Work Sans, Work Sans. There we go. Font weight, 600. And then text transform, uppercase. Font size, 14. Then line height, I'll put in a 1. And then letter spacing, I'll put in 2. 1. Let's take that down to 1. There we go. We're done with that. Let's bring in our next text element for our heading. Go again to plus elements, grab our heading, drag and drop it, and this time I can easily drop it there. We grab a little bit longer text this time. I'll go here from Silum Dolore. Let's start from Dolore. Just a few words. We don't want excessively long text. I'll select the element, go to content, paste that, and then this one I'm going to put on H2 because it's more important and it's the most important heading probably on the page or at least within that section. Let's change again the color because that's going to mess us up if we don't see it. Put it on white. And from here, again, font family, Work Sans. And then font weight, I'm going to put this one a little bit narrower on 400. And we'll go to text transform, also use uppercase for this one. And I think for now, we're going to leave it here. Font size, 40. We'll put it at 40. And then line height, letter spacing. Here, if you look at this font family I have chosen, Dolore io fugiat nulla pariatur, you can see that maybe I just feel like between the D and the O, that spacing looks very big. It feels like my letters are a little bit disconnected. I say that I'm trying to rationalize it. Maybe you don't see it at all, right? But that's how we rationalize. If you want to have a little bit more impact, what we can do is to actually reduce the letter spacing. Here in the previous upper heading, we've actually increased the letter spacing by adding 1 pixel between each letter. And this time we're going to do the opposite. We're going to squeeze it by 1 pixel. Go to letter spacing and type in -1. And you see it brings them a little bit closer. Let's try -2. Oops, -2. And I think that actually looks pretty good. Next is a divider, a line that I want to bring in. And I'm not doing anything in terms of spacing now, just bringing all my content onto the page. I'll go again to Elements. And this you will find under General, the first one here called Divider. Click on the divider and drag it under Dolore and drop it. And this is a problem with the divider. You're not going to see it. It's going to be pretty difficult because the divider is actually set at nothing. So it's almost impossible to see it. However, exactly there at the bottom, as I put my cursor at the bottom, you will see that green line and the green handle appears here. I can click on this one and then I've got my divider settings open up here on the left. If you run into that situation where you cannot see it, simply go to the structure and then select divider over here. With the problem though, I still think I cannot work very well here because we're not going to be able to see it in context. So at a minimum, let's add some padding to our main section, our main container, to the top and the bottom. And that we're going to do by going to the top and then select our section first. Hover at the top until you see that orange line and then click and drag. Then let's move here to the middle. Click on opposites linked. And then I'm going to add around 150 pixels to the top. Then I'll delink it. And at the bottom, I Control Z, Command Z to undo. Let's go to the top again. And now they are still all linked. All sides linked. Not what I want. But we can leave it there. It's not going to make a huge mistake for us. And then we go to the bottom and I'll just drag this then in at 180. We give a lot more space to this one. Good, so now you can see that divider much better than we did previously. So let's go here again, see if we can find it. Click on it. And like I said, otherwise you just go to the structure and select it from there. Let's see content under divider, height in pixels. I'll give it, this is your thickness. You see, it grows 4 pixels and then width in pixels. I would have liked a percentage here. I'm curious why the width is only in pixels. Percentage would have been nice. Let's give it 100. Let's make it 150 pixels. And then style is solid. And then align center. It moves to the center. And here we have interesting terminology. Bottom or end means to the right. And then top start means to the left. Then the style here or your color, we select white again, makes it much easier. I think the line is too big. Let's take it back to 100. 100 was a good place to start. And that's all. You have style here, but the style doesn't really make sense under the divider. I'll add a paragraph of text here, but it's strictly speaking still a heading. So instead of creating everything from scratch, I'll just go to this one up here, right click on it, and then select clone heading. This is going to duplicate it for us. And now we have 2 of them. Over the handlebar, click and drag. And then I'll drop it here. Interesting. Oh, no. I'll drop it there. The reason here it goes to the center is because I've moved it outside my column container. So I have to make sure that I keep it within that container that's on the left. And I'll drop it there. Now I'll add a little more paragraph here. Or a little longer paragraph, not more. Bad English, copy. Go back and I'll select everything here, Control V, and we'll make a few changes. Maybe that's too much text. Let me take out a little bit of that. Okay, and let's go under Style. I'll change a few things. I'll make the font weight thinner at 300, and then the letter spacing I will 1. Let's put letter spacing at 0. Yep, I think I like that. And last thing we're going to do is bring in a button, and then we'll work on making this all look good. Element button. Click, drag, drop it. I am button. Let's select a button, go to Content, type in View More. And then today we're going to play around with the size of the button. Small, medium, large, extra large. And why not? Extra large buttons are cute. You can put it in a circle, and I think this is what we're going to do. Pill-shaped button for today. And if you want to, you can also set it to outline. Link type is going to be external URL. We'll send it to my website, which is website W4B, websitesforbeginners.io. And then scroll down and select your Open in New tab. We add an icon. Click on icon, scroll down, and then select library. Then you have to scroll down and select icons. And I think from here, you're going to see this little arrow to the right, which is good enough for us to use. Then select here to close it. Let's go style out the color. The great thing about the color palette that I brought in earlier over here is that all these colors really go very nicely together with each other. So I chose this one called Biscay for my background. And now I want to choose a light color to contrast that for the button. And usually that is in this row or that row. You can see a light version, darker version, light version, darker version. That is the concept behind most flat design. So remember, this is the background. This yellow actually looks pretty good. But let's just change it to one of these colors here. So Brood Mustard or Apple Valley. Which one are we in the mood for? Mustard or apple? Let's go for Brood Mustard. Click on it, right one, and then make sure. Style. Let's go change the background first. Click on background. V. Now our text fades in. The color is not good enough for that. So we make some changes to the text. Typography. The first thing is we change the font to work sans. And the font weight, let's put that on 300. Then I think text transform uppercase. Font size, I'll put at 14. Then line height, we will leave alone. Letter spacing, we'll put at 1. Let's leave it at nothing. Then text color, we're going to switch that to white. So I think let's make the font weight a little bit thicker so we can see it better. Right, so let's have a look at how we're going to make this look better. The first thing we want to do is to constrain the space within our main container. Click on Structure. Here, the one I renamed it to Column. If I click on it, you will see it's that blue box. We want to add padding here on the right and then move all of this to the left so that this line, the main heading, and this one, the paragraph area, will break into more lines. So we want the right side of the hero section to be empty so that our image can stand out from the back. To do that, you have a number of ways you can do that. In our case, we're going to bring in padding for this area. So we will click here on the right, and I'll bring it in until I find it like so. I like it. Let's have a look. If I collapse the structure, still looks good, but I will probably drag it a little bit more and we can make changes to that again later. I think let's just break it one more line so we have it like so. And unfortunately, you see here, I don't have a formula that I can give you and say, do it like this, do it like that. It does depend on the length of the text that you are putting in there. Again, let's preview our work. Do you remember the shortcut keys? First, we save it, which is Control-Command-S. And then we can preview it within the builder, which is Control-Command-P. And it will give us an in-builder preview. This is not a front-end preview. Front-end preview, you go up here to this arrow and click on View on Front-End, and it opens for us in the front end. Let's close that. Back to the builder. To get out of the preview mode, you can click here or just hit Control-Command-P again. Wait. Before we do that, this doesn't look good, right? This looks so novice. Really, it looks bad. So how do we fix it? And you're going to find that the amazing answer to this is space. That's all we are going to do to fix this. Nothing fancy. This is where the golden power tool of space comes in. Let's close the builder. First thing I will do is add space between these two. You can select either of them. Whenever we add space between elements, we are bringing in margins. So I'll select my main heading. Then I'll go outside until I see that green bar appears. Click and drag, and I'll bring in around 20 pixels. And that's a 20 pixel margin I've added there. Let's do the same for the divider. Well, I can just bring in 20 pixels. Okay, there we go again. And then for this one, same. Make it also 20. And then for our button, click on it. And it's important to click on it first before you drag. Otherwise, Bricks is not going to give you the ability to drag it. So then we go here, and I'll bring in around 70. Few things still to make it look better. First, we go to our heading. I'll select it, go to typography, line height. A little too much line height for my liking there, so I'll bring it down to around 1.4. I think that is actually the standard. 12, 1.2. Let's increase this to around 30, that one, and also again to 30 here. I think that will look better. Yep. And then for this text over here, select it. Line height, we're going to increase this time because we have basically a paragraph. So as I increase that, we'll take it all the way to 1.8 to 2. And I think we've done it. Right, so let's bring in a little bit flair here and there. The first one I will do is to bring in a transform function for this button. Select the button and then under style, let's close typography, you will see transform here. To bring in a transform, you have to select this little pencil next to it, and then you have all these functions. You have translate, which is kind of like position, scale, size, rotate, and skew. I tried rotate when I was doing the demo. It didn't work. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I saw in the 1.2.1 that they say they fixed it. Let's see. So I'll grab the slider. Yep, they did fix it. Good. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of this, but not. I'm going to reset it. Why? Why did I make a mistake here? Remember, we want to have this on hover. Currently, this is our default view state, so we have to activate the hover first. Hover is up here next to the B for bricks, hover styles. Click on that, and it will set your builder now within hover state. Everything you do now will only affect as people hover over it. So remember this, there's even a notice here at the bottom that says edit normal state, just to remind you that you are in the hover state at this moment. So let's go to transform. And I will then make a few changes here. The first one, I will scale it a little bit. And there it goes. I'll just type in there 1.1, 1.1. And then scale this one, 1.1. You don't see anything happen, but if I hover over it, you will see it goes bigger. And then let's rotate it on the Z axis slightly. Let's see how these values. Oh, okay. So let's move it to the opposite, -3. Okay, I like that. Now here, of course, I'm pretty sure Bricks is going to give us this feature built in the future. I hunted around for it, I couldn't find the animation speed. And what do I mean by that? You see, as I hover over it, this button grows and tilts almost instantly. That is too abrupt for me. I would just like apply a little bit of a transition speed so it can move a little bit slower. At this moment, it is just too abrupt. This is something that I'm pretty sure Bricks is going to give to us. And let them focus on the WooCommerce builder at this moment, as they've got a lot of pressure to finish that one by July. Let's close this, and we're going to say we're happy with this one at this moment. At this point, remember to deselect your hover styles. Good. Let's save the draft, and let's bring in our shape divider. So go to our section, make sure it is selected, section, shape dividers, and let's add one. You can add many here. And what I really like about the shape dividers here is that you will see this is not just border dividers. These are shapes that you can use across the entire container, which gives it a real nice arty effect. And it's not only confined to top and bottom, you can also use on the side. So I chose this one, vertical tilt. No, not vertical tilt, vertical triangle. And it gives me this triangle. Now from here, scroll up, you get a lot of settings that comes with this shape divider. The first one is the fill color, and I'll put it on black, which is here, and then lightness. So you take it all the way to this side, and then all the way saturation to the top. But we want to give it a nice little fade in effect. So I grab the transparency and I'll drag it all the way down to 0.2. That's 20% opacity. That looks pretty good. So let's close out the color. And then you have controls here. I'm just going to make changes to the width. So from the width, I'll just grab it a little like so. And what is that? Around 300 pixels. We can put it on 300 exact. Give it this little arrow that indicates it into the right. Let's have a look on the front end. Control S, then Control P, Command P, and maybe we can add a little bit more, but this is still good enough. Let's go to the front end. And why my line has moved. Did I not notice this before? Let me just go have a look again at this. Close that. Strange. Let's bring in another divider while we are here. Let me see if I drop this divider. Why it doesn't want to drop? Oh, and if this happens, you just click here on Reload Canvas. Okay, let's try it again. There it is. Let's select it. Content. Oh, wait. I cannot select it. So let's go to Structure. Select the divider. And then Width. Pixels. What did we say? 100 pixels. And our color is white. Okay, let's see if we save that. Preview, it's fine. Front end, it's not fine. Strange. Right, so let me delete this one for now. Delete divider. And maybe at the end, we'll test that one again to see if that is a bug or did I change anything here. I hope it's a bug. Otherwise, I have no idea what I did for that divider to display like this. But I think, let's have a look then at our tablet. Oh, okay, tablet doesn't look good. And that is because of the padding. So I click in the column and you see we've added this massive amount of padding. And I'm just going to drag it by eye until I get it to 2 lines like this. And I'll be very happy with that on my tablet. Then mobile landscape. Landscape. Do not be fooled with this. This shouldn't be portrait. This should be landscape. So let's link the opposite sides and then remove the padding at the top. This is very, okay. And then I will also remove most of the padding here. And then also for the sides. What happened now? Oh, it's unlinked. Okay. Not everything is perfect. Let's add a little bit at the top. And then we have to reduce the margins between these. And we'll also have to reduce the size of this text. So click on the text, style, it's set to 40. We'll put it to 20. And then this one will set to 14. We'll put it to 12. And the button, I think we'll leave the button, but we will reduce the size of the button. It has to be landscape. So just remember, it's up there. And then mobile portrait. This one is fine. Here, I will just increase the size of the padding at the top and at the bottom. Let's bring button spacing back. Click on the button and drag out the margin. As I work with Bricks really still has a lot of work to do. I'll increase the font weight for this one. Has a lot of work to do to make sure. Let's put it on 800. That didn't do anything. 900. Oh, I didn't select anything. There we go. Going back to it, I still have a lot of work to do, especially on the responsiveness of their sizing and padding, because as I move from one to the next and I grab my handle, you see it jumps around. It says unlinked, but it still takes that memory and it applies it, and it can be very frustrating, all sides unlinked. So for example, if I click here now, I go back here at the top and I start dragging, it jumps again. You see, it remembers the settings from the default from the previous device. But you saw that if you go back and look a few times at it, you will see it jumps. It has the stickiness that it remembers of the previous settings. Let's save it and then let's preview it. Front end. I'll grab my URL, control. Let's paste that. And that line there, how disappointing, how disappointing. Not entirely sure why the line is doing that. But if we come to our mobile devices and our tablet, we smile big smiles because it looks good on these devices. Very, very nice. Now let's bring in a background image. We go back to Bricks Builder. Let me close this. Close our preview. And then we put it back on desktop. And there we go. Let's duplicate the section. Right-click over the section and click on Clone Container. That is what it is. And then I'll just select the top one, hover outside, click drag to add padding, margin. And the reason we add margin is so we can just see the difference between these two. Select the section at the bottom, then go to Style, Background, click on the color and click Clear. It's always a good idea to just take it out. Then we're going to select the image, and I'll bring in this hair salon kind of image by L'Oreal, and let's drag down. And I think we will remove our background divider. Let's do that first. Shape divider. And I'll just click here on the red X next to it to cancel out everything. Now, let's position the image first. So let's go back to background. Here is our image. And where we want it is background attachment position, center, center. Good. And then make sure your background size is put to cover. Our text gets lost. And it doesn't matter you go and change the text to a dark color because your hair in the background is also dark. So if it's dark, it's going to get lost. If it's light, it's going to get lost. To solve this one, we are going to add an overlay. But instead of adding an overlay over the entire image and then losing this beautiful part of her face on the right, we're going to only add the overlay to the left side. We still do that with the overlay, but using gradients. Before I do that, I want to change the color of the button now to something that is part of my theme or maybe looks good on this image. So I'll drag a color here from her lips. It's just a little bit lighter and more pink. I have a color picker here, and then I'll just select something nice. That's a nice pink. Rose. Then I'll go to the button and just change the color to that new one. Good. Now click on the section, and we are going to bring in a gradient / overlay. We are going to apply it to overlay. And now we have to add the colors. Click on that function. Where did I just do that? Add color. And the first one we'll add is black. So drag the lightness to the left, and we have the black. Leave it like that, and then click clone. Now we have two blacks. What we do now is we take this one, click on the color, and we make it full transparent by dragging it all the way to the left. Now you see we have this gradient effect. One side is revealed, the other side is covered. Click on the color, and now we go to angle in. And we just drag this one until we get it to around 100. I think it's 90 actually, 90 degrees. Let's just type in 90. And now you see the black is here on the left. The right is nice and open, and we can see the text, but we can also see her face. Maybe this one on the left is a little too dark. So we click on color one, click on the color, and just reduce the transparency a little bit. So we can still see it to around here in 0.8. Looks good, looks good. And close that. And that was very easily done. Let's save it. Control, Command S. I'll go check it in Sysy, update. And let's focus first on our desktop. Focus. This one looks good, except that line is bothering the heebie-jeebies out of me. And then as we scroll down, oh, this looks really good. Very professional. Now pay me. And then we go to responsive mode. And we can look at one of our devices. Let's look at our iPhone. Right? We know this one looks good. Why? Because we made it. And then we scroll down. Also looks good. Right? That line bothers me. Really, it doesn't look good. It looks out of place completely. So what I'm going to do now, you can log off at this point, but I want to just go see if that line is an issue, a bug, or did I screw it up? And how I'm going to do it is to create a new page, because maybe I already made some settings to this page. So do you remember how we make a new page? Go up here, pages. I'm going to call this divider troubleshooting. I'm one of those people. I just cannot let it go. Click on divider troubleshooting, gives us a new one. We'll bring in a container, and we put in another container within that container like we did before. Let's stretch the first one, align stretch, and then with our elements, grab the divider and drag it inside. So we can see here from the structure, container, divider, select the divider. Let's give it a thick one. Let's put it on 10 so we can see it better. And then within pixels, we'll put it at 100. And let's go to the container above it and just add padding. Where is our layout? To the top. Not right, bottom, so we can see it. This one we can remove. Alrighty. And I'll just add text below that to give us an indication of what is where. Save, preview, front end. No, there we go. It's not working right. So that is definitely then a bug that we've got there. Let me just do one more divider, leave it at full width. And I'm pretty sure it's a bug because it worked in the previous version. So if it's not working in this version, then it is because of the latest update. 5 pixels width, I'm going to leave it. Let's just change the color, something different, purple. Save, preview, front end. Moves it. Good, I'll go log it. It's not the end of the world, except if you wanted that divider for this tutorial like I wanted. Just remember, it did work. This is the one that I had created in 1.2. And if I show you the front end, you will see that the divider works perfectly. This is the 1.2 update, and the divider moves a little bit to the right. So let's hope the 1.2.2 can come out quickly and fix that little bug out there. this is then the end of Bricks Reconstructed episode 2. We almost created an amazing new header banner for our hair salon, or for a very standard flat design if it wasn't for that divider. We can probably fix it by applying negative margins, but that's not what Websites for Beginners is about. We want it out of the box to work as advertised. So we are going to hope that this little one can get fixed, or whatever I did wrong can also be fixed. But we created a stunning one. We've worked with buttons. We saw how transform works. As I hover over it, it grows a little bit, and then it tilts a little bit as it rotates. We've brought in an image, and I've shown you also how you can use gradients within your image to make sure that one side of your image is darker to allow for the text to break through, but while the other side of your image still preserves the original color and contrast. And that's a very nice little one to use there. That's it. Have a great weekend. Next week, have a good week. Stay safe. See you in the next video from me, JP. Have a brilliant day.